Taking a look at how the West will be won with CBS NBA Insider Bill Reiter. Let's dive in with the 3-6, Bill. If this were a game of poker, the Warriors, they've just been check, 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 check since Steph went down. His availability in question, Steve Kerr said it's going to be down to the wire for game one against the Nuggets. You head into the playoffs feeling what about these Warriors?
Well, if you keep with the poker analogy, that they should certainly advance in this series. I think they're contenders, barring some kind of awful inside straight bad beat by whoever they happen to face, whether, Denver this round or somebody the next round. It comes down to this, Joe. It really does. If Steph Curry can be healthy at whatever point the Warriors are challenged in a series, and that may or may not be in the opening round against Denver, if he's around, if he's Steph Curry, the Warriors are the favorite until they play the Suns, and even then I think they have an absolute chance in that series. If he's not around, they're not a very good basketball team. We've seen Draymond Green really struggle. Klay Thompson's been inconsistent, great at times, so it comes down to Steph's health. And I think you're talking about a range from really disappointing early exit to NBA champions, depending on that outcome for Steph Curry.
Yeah, not just getting back to available, but getting back into a groove for Steph. We'll see what that looks like in the coming weeks. As we just saw here, another layer added to this Mavs-Jazz series. Luka leaving Sunday night's game with a calf strain. Not believed to be serious, but notable nonetheless. These two split the 4 matchups in the regular season, with the home side prevailing in all of those matchups. Who gets the edge here in your eyes?
Yeah, I think this is the most intriguing by far matchup, at least that's set so far in the Western Conference. On the one hand, you've got a Mavericks team that has by far the best player on the floor every night in Luka Doncic. If he's healthy, if he's not healthy, obviously the Mavericks have literally zero chance. But if Doncic is there, you would think that Dallas is the favorite. They've got that momentum. They played really well. And this is a Utah Jazz team that don't like each other. I mean, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, and mostly Donovan Mitchell, have been pretty open in interviews when asked if they like one another, that it's about business. And that is not a good place you want to be in the postseason. There's lots of rumors swirling around whether or not Quinn Snyder is going to be back and whether Danny Ainge, who's been installed as the head of operations on the basketball side, will make changes. And yet this is a Utah team that's been through the wars. It's come up short in the postseason the last few years, so you'd think the experience is there. They have a top 10 offensive and defensive rating, which historically at least is a statistical barometer for excellence in the playoffs. It's a really tough one to call. I like the Mavericks because I've bet so much money on the Jazz over the years that I've learned my lesson the hard way. But if you think Utah is going to actually put it together in the postseason, they're a really interesting, sneaky team, I think, in this series.
Yeah, a lot of those future tickets riding on the health of Luka moving forward. 7 versus 8, the play-in will feature a Clips-Wolves matchup. It's sort of a nondescript season for LA, where it does feel like Minnesota took a step forward this year, and you got to factor in the Pat Bev revenge series here, he says out of one side of his mouth. Who matches up better with Memphis, who awaits on that 2-line, Bill?
Yeah, I think that this is a situation where Minnesota is just the better. They're just the better basketball team, talented basketball team. I think that they've got a really inconsistent superstar in Karl Anthony Towns. I know he's been a statistical wonder this year, and he made my All-NBA ballot. But in one game where he has to focus for one game, where he only has to play defense for one game, in terms of being judged over the course of that very small timeline, those 48 minutes, he's going to be a monster. The Clippers have been a really good story, and give Ty Lue, I think, credit for the coaching job he's done. But obviously there's no Kawhi Leonard. And with no Kawhi, this isn't the Clippers team we thought we were going to have when he joined Los Angeles, the other team in LA. I think Minnesota is by far the better basketball team.
All right, finally, your 9 versus 10 will be Pelicans and Spurs. Vegas sees the Pels as a 5-point favorite in game 1. How do you see it?
Yeah, this is the one team where I'm taking the dog. And I recognize, again, there's a lot more talent on that New Orleans teams. And I love the addition of C.J. McCollum. I think he was criminally underrated in Portland, really through no fault of his own or the Trailblazers, outshined by Damian Lillard, who when healthy is obviously a superstar. And I say all of that to say this: he's still an organization that hasn't learned how to win, that isn't particularly well run, that has a lot of drama. And Greg Popovich is still Greg Popovich. I know that there's a talent imbalance that goes toward New Orleans. I think there's a real experience, maybe all-time great coaching advantage that clearly goes to the Spurs. I like San Antonio for the upset.
The road to a Larry O.B. starts now. Bill Reiter going to be with us through it all. Thank you, Bill. Here's a look at those odds to win the West. Suns, head and shoulders your favorite at almost even money, plus 110. Warriors, very much dependent on Steph's status, his health, plus 450 there. So maybe you're getting them at a little bit longer number than you will later on if Steph does show his availability is ready to rock. Grizzlies at plus 625. You get the double digits to your money on the Mavericks at 10-1.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.